Hi everyone, it's Nicole Spohr and welcome back to my channel. Today I have another STAMPtember 2021 video to share with you. We are going to be mixing and matching stamp sets from multiple companies for this one layer sunflower card. The sunflowers are from the Simon Says Stamp and Honeybee Stamps Be a Sunflower stamp set. There is a coordinating border die if you want the stamp die combo. I'm just going to use the sunflowers for my card today, and I used kind of a creative way to not mask and still be able to color my sunflowers yellow. This was completely trial and error. I wanted to see if I could make it work, and I have to say I am in love with the results. So you're going to notice that I've got a 4 by, or a 4.5, oh my goodness, 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch panel of Bristol smooth cardstock here in my MISTI, and I'm inking the sunflower border with VersaFine Onyx Black ink. If I'm going to do outline coloring with my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, I use Bristol cardstock and VersaFine Onyx Black ink. Now once I have my sunflowers stamped, and I want to make sure that I have a really good impression, and I actually noticed that I completely missed the top of that tall sunflower, so I'm going to need to re-stamp that. Now I like to keep it real with you guys. I totally messed up. So my paper shifted, and that will happen. I did not put adhesive down on the paper inside my MISTI, and I'm not stamping in the corner because the border is longer than a portrait style background. For a landscape background, it's going to fit along that bottom edge too. So I really like that you can use either the landscape or portrait for this stamp set. Now I chose to do portrait because you're going to notice when I move to my next stamp set, I'm going to need it. So I re-stamped it. It looks good. This stamp set is the Kitchen Sink Stamps Multi-Step Rolling Hills. I know that during STAMPtember here, I've actually showcased Kitchen Sink a couple of times paired with other stamp companies, and this is no exception. So this is a multi-step stamp set. It does not look all that impressive in the package, I guess, but it is an awesome scene builder. So if you guys are like me and you love scene builders, this is a great stamp set. For that first layer, for our rolling hills, I use the new Pawsitively Saturated Celery ink from Simon Says Stamp, and I stamped right over the sunflowers. Now this is the part that I wasn't sure was going to work because we're gradually going to get darker, right? So next I stamped the second layer with LIMELICIOUS from Simon Says Stamp, and then I'm finishing with the third and fourth layers. Those are going to both be with PEARFECTION. And yes, I am using PEARFECTION for the third and the fourth layer here. Just by stamping, I stamped the fourth layer twice, and that's going to deepen and darken. It's only this tiny little thin strip. This creates amazing rolling hills. Right now it looks like a hot mess, but I promise you guys, stick with me and we are going to make an amazing little scene card out of this. Believe it or not, you can color over that inked border there, the sunflowers, with your Zig markers, and I don't think that you even lose that much. It will change the color a little bit, but if you saw the photo at the beginning, I was so thrilled with the end result. I couldn't believe it worked. It was completely a trial and error type of thing, and now that I know that it works, it is something I'm going to do again in the future. So here is the coloring of the flowers. The video is sped up a bit tonight just so I don't want to be here for 40 minutes. We'll be here for about 20 instead, but I am using about 3 shades for yellow. This is probably not exactly the color combination I would use if the background was white. So we're using light brown, mustard, and yellow. 3 colors that I can pretty, I could say with quite a bit of certainty that I've never used together. I did not know if it would work, and I ended up totally loving it. I tried the bright yellow and yellow, what I would normally probably gravitate towards, did not love it. So I tried something else and it ended up being amazing. I'm like really, really thrilled with the results. Now for any of the greenery, that's going to be the stems and the leaves, that's going to be green and light green. I knew that wasn't going to be an issue. That was going to color over that lightest part of the background perfectly. What I'm trying to achieve with this card, we want the sunflowers to look like they are maybe closest to the, let's say that we're taking a picture and this is a snapshot. We want the sunflowers to appear to be closest to the camera. And I've zoomed in, so I hope this makes it a little bit easier to see the detail of the coloring. And then the hills are back behind these beautiful tall sunflowers. And as you're looking across the rolling hills in the background, you see the barn and the windmill and the tree off into the distance. That's why we're going to stamp those in black. There's going to be birds flying in the air and then some very light clouds up in the sky with a little sunshine and a sentiment. That's kind of my vision for this card, and I think it would work with a lot of different stamps. I like to mention this in my STAMPtember videos this year, but I have made it a goal that when you're watching these videos, because the STAMPtember products always sell out. The STAMPtember stamp set, which is the honeybee set of sunflowers I'm using here, is a limited edition exclusive, meaning that when this sells out, they are not bringing it back. So my goal with this video is to show you some ideas that maybe you could take another stamp set that you own, because there's lots of border floral stamp sets out there, and you can create something very similar. The kitchen sink stamps stamp set I've had for a year. I know it sells out and it comes back in stock and whatnot. It is great. It doesn't have to be rolling hills. It could be snow, you guys. If you stamp it in a different color, it's snow. Or it could be sand for a beach. So definitely it's super, super versatile. The Hero Arts sets that I am using, even these, you could use these to build your scene instead, because these are big 6x8 stamp sets full of color layering that we're not even really using. I'm using a lot of the small elements from this. I have used the little elements over and over again. These are fantastic basics as well. So just kind of take a look at your stash, see what you have, and try to build cards from those things. It always excites me, and I find it kind of a challenge to see what I can take and put together to make completely different card designs. So I talked about the color of the sunflower petals, which is light brown, mustard, and yellow. The flower centers is deep brown and mid brown. And are you guys a little bit amazed at how well or how good of coverage these markers give over the green? I really thought there was no way this was going to work. In fact, I started filming because I thought, well, there's a chance it could work. And I thought, well, you know, if it doesn't work, whatever, I'll delete that and we'll just do something different. I didn't want to mask because this is really, really detailed, and I didn't want to fussy cut. I considered fussy cutting along the border because I don't have the die, and I think even if I did have the die, I wouldn't have used it, and I'm going to tell you why. See all those spaces in between the flowers and the leaves? Those would all be white if I fussy cut, and I didn't want that. And like I said, masking seemed quite terrible. Not even gonna lie. These are just way, way, way more detailed than I like to cut. I'm going to continue finishing coloring here. So after I did those first few sunflowers, because I will tell you, I didn't know if I was going to commit. I mean, I liked how it looked, but I was like, well, do we want to go forward? Do we not? Those first couple of flowers. And so once I decided, yep, we're going to commit to it, we're going to go all in, I decided to color the rest of the flowers and then the flower centers, and then we're going to do all of the beautiful greenery. I'm kind of going around the outer edge of the center of the sunflower with deep brown and then filling in with mid brown. And then tracing with my green marker and blending out with light green. I don't know that I have colored using a black outline in my zigs in a while. I tend to do a lot of no line coloring. This also was something I wasn't super interested in doing no line coloring. It's pretty small and detailed. It was very, very easy to color with a black outline, but I'm thinking with no line coloring, it might be quite a lot of work. This card came together very quickly once I decided to commit to this and that I liked it and I thought it was going to work. So we're just going to shade the rest of these real quick. And then I guess I did forget to do one sunflower. And we'll finish that. And then we're going to ink up the sky very lightly with some Seafoam Pawsitively saturated ink and a blending brush. So it has a really soft, pretty light blue sky. I want to note too, as I used that Rolling Hills Kitchen Sink Stamps stamp set, that the Simon Says Stamp New Inks inked beautifully when doing a multi-step stamping type of stamp set. So whether you do kitchen sink stamps or the Hero Arts color layering or the Altenew layering stamps or any company that does a lot of the layering stamps, look how beautiful the Simon Says Stamp inks do when you're doing that kind of technique. I was totally thrilled with that. You really get some amazing depth and dimension for those Rolling Hills. Okay, here I'm going to grab my teal blending brush. I'm going to use the bigger size of the two. And my Seafoam ink, I already know that I am going to have to get another Seafoam ink pad because I love this color. I use it all the time. And we're just going to kind of start down near the horizon line and gently kind of lighten as we get towards the top of the panel. Already just adding a little touch of blue, you can see how amazing this blue sky is and how it really does make this scene start to come to life. And I'm not blending clear into the green, just kind of right up next to it. I'm not going to mask it or anything like that. We're not doing any masking here. That's not true. I do a lot of masking, but if I don't have to, I won't. And then we're going to place our panel in our MISTI, and we're going to stamp all of those fun elements that are off in the distance. So we're going to start with the barn and the windmill. This is from the Hero Arts Sunflower Field color layering set. In fact, I will tell you, the windmill, birds, and barn, plus the smallest cloud we're using are from the Sunflower Field color layering set. There's another cloud, kind of the big cloud I'm using is from the Lavender Field color layering set. The medium cloud and the tree are from the Tulip Field color layering set. And the sun is from the Waterfall Heroscape layering set. Now, I want to be really clear. Yes, I used a whole bunch of clouds from different sets and little images. That is not necessary. Honestly, these two images from the sunflower set, in addition to the birds and the one cloud, that cloud could have been used multiple places. So you definitely don't need them. I would look in your stash and see if you have something similar. Unless you already own these Hero Arts sets, then it's just really fun to try to find new ways to use them. The sentiment is from Be a Sunflower stamp set. We only get the one sunflower border image in the exclusive limited edition, but we get 7 different Well, we get 4 different phrases and then 3 individual words that you could build into different phrases. So you get a lot of great sentiments here. Things like stand close to people who feel like sunshine, in a world full of roses, be a sunflower, shine like a sunflower, and then the words hello, sunshine, and beautiful. So really nice sentiments. Some of those can for sure be used with other stamp sets. I think they are a fantastic size as well. Now that I have my sentiment and my barn and windmill, I'm going to take clouds from some of those stamp sets I just mentioned and stamp them with a white pigment ink. And we're going to do this for about 3 different cloud images. Then I'm going to take the birds, and they are from that Sunshine Color Layering set, and have them kind of coming up from the barn. I also stamped that little tree over on the left side. I feel like that balances it out really nice. And then the sunshine from the waterfall set. That's a combination of both Sunbeam and Citrine inks. Isn't that so pretty, you guys? I love it just like this. And this is a true 1 layer at this point. I am going to take some glossy accents and add it to my sunflower centers, which is going to give them a beautiful glossy raised finish. I'm also going to add a little glossy accents to my sunshine up in the sky. I feel like that helps balance it out nicely. And you could completely leave your card as is. I did go in and add some little red hearts because if you guys follow me, you know that I love my little red hearts. I like that little touch of red to help finish off this card design. And I hope this maybe inspires you to think outside the box a little bit. The next time you are creating a card with a stamp set and you need a creative way to add a background without having to mask or fussy cut. And I love to kind of fiddle around. I really fiddled around with these hearts. So funny. I'm going to use a little barely glue to glue those down. And then we're going to place the whole thing on a white top fold card base. Now, be careful with your glossy accents. You can see it's still pretty milky. When it dries completely, it will be completely clear. And that is when you can handle your card. It probably should really be the last thing you do in order to not accidentally get your hand in it and smear things around. I like to live on the edge. I always make that joke that I like to live on the edge. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this mix and match sunflower theme card featuring the Honeybee Stamps STAMPtember 2021 stamp set called Be a Sunflower. The supplies I used to create my card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here is another video featuring STAMPtember products that you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell to never miss a new card making video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.